Hi everyone, welcome back to another project, another DIY. All right, so, okay, here's what I have been up to. I pulled out this guy, and I pulled out this guy, because I'm thinking for fall. So I've been so inspired by the Sterling Ink subscription for September. Like, I'm loving these purple tones, these deep tones. Like, it's so beautiful. So I thought it's gonna go perfect with the purple plumeria binder. So I will be setting this up for, spoiler alert, I'll be setting this up for September. But first things first, I want to get my dividers set up, because my current dividers are very springy, summer, and they're really beautiful, but they won't all go with this purple plumeria. I brought out my classic. I've been missing the classic. I am not ready to be in this full time because this is just too big for me to carry around on the daily. So I need the bulk of my planning to be in my compact, but I'm thinking I want to set this up for home, for things that I don't need to carry with me on a daily basis, that I don't really use on a daily basis. So when I was going through my storage binder for this beautiful binder, I found, or I shouldn't say for this binder, my storage binder for classic. So I have my storage binder here, and I was going through it thinking, okay, what can I use? And I came across these. These are from Cloth and Paper. They are the Girl Gang tab dividers. They're cardstock. It has some gold font on it. And they're in the A5 size because Cloth and Paper does not do half letter. So I ordered these actually by accident. I thought that when I ordered them, I remember this, I thought that they were the little sticky notes. I'll show you. So Cloth and Paper has these tab sticky notes. I have a whole bunch, but I just grabbed these ones. But so they're tab sticky notes. That's what I thought I was ordering. And they came as big dividers. It was funny at the time. So I have used them in my binder, but because A5 is more narrow than half letter, the tabs just sort of, you can't really see the tabs. So they've just been sitting in my binder. I'm not going to use them. So I figured I will trim them down to fit my personal wide. So I grabbed one of my DIY tab dividers that I made from Sterling Ink Vellum, and I just sort of lined these up evenly because I did a brain dump. I shared this on Instagram yesterday, so if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen this, but I did a brain dump on what do I actually need on a day-to-day basis. So what do I need on the go? I definitely need my schedule, I need my goals, I need my CEO section, and I need my notes. Okay, other stuff that I don't use on a daily basis is like my personal section. All I track in here is like movies and TV shows that I watch, doctor's visits, and even then I don't go to the doctor a lot. The only doctor I really see is my naturopath, and that's like 2 or 3 times a year. So I don't really need that on the go, right? Projects. I don't really project plan on the go. And the only major projects, I shouldn't say major, but time consuming, is making my inserts. I am working on, I do want to open up a digital shop. So it's taken me some time. It's a lot of work. That's what all this planning here is. But anyhow, so I don't really need that on the go. And then in-depth planning, like brain dumping. Well, I have a brain dump notebook, so I don't really need that in my everyday, right? So, and then, so yeah, so for compact, then I kind of broke it down here. So these are the 4 sections that I need, okay? So I need those 4 sections. Then within my notes sections and my goals sections, here's what I'm gonna have in there, okay? I will probably go through this more in detail once it's actually set up, but first I need my tabbed dividers. So if I were to grab all 6 of these and just line them up, I would have a gap like this on the end of my, like peeking out over the edge of my binder, and I want them to be even. So this is why I set it this way. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I am making sense. But the only thing with these is because they are cardstock and I have used them a lot in the past. I've tried to make these work several times because they're pink, and you guys know pink is my favorite color. It's my happy color. And the tabs have gotten bent. So I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I can make them work. I don't know how I can smooth those out. But anyhow, so the point I was trying to make is if I had all of these lined up the way that they came and tried to line them up, I'd have my 4 tabs, but then I'd have quite a gap on the end. So then I just grabbed the ones where I could cut them, and this is what I came up with. So these ones are pretty much untouched, but these ones kind of bend a little bit, so I'm not okay with that, but what do you do? So I'm going to cut these. I'm going to trace. I'm going to kind of trace here, and I'm going to trim them to see. And so then I should have 1, 2, 3. This is gonna have to come in a little bit because it goes a little bit over. So that's the idea. I'm able to show better than what I can articulate. Words are hard. So I'm gonna scooch this up just a little bit here, right? Because I want all 4 tabs to be within the personal wide size. So I'm gonna have to scooch this one. See, it's hard to scooch one up without scooching, without moving them all. I think that looks pretty even. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I'm gonna have to do that anyways when I do the rest. Okay, so let's see how I can make this. I'm totally improvising here. There's no pre-planning at all, just I'm a kind of wing it kind of person, if you haven't guessed already. So let's remove this. Let's remove the top, not the others, okay? Because they should all be measured out anyways. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do first is these cardstock ones, and then I will use this as a template. I'll use these as a template for my vellums. I'm going to put them in this way. I'll probably put tabs over them. I'm not going to use that side because these labels don't suit what I'm using, like what my tabs will be. Okay, so that's the first one done. Yeah, see, that's perfect. It doesn't need to line up with this tab, so let's pretend that that top tab is not there. This is going to be its own tab. Okay, wonderful. I'll probably trim this just a little bit because when I, actually never mind, I was going to say when I laminate it, but I'm not going to be laminating the cardstock ones. That'll make them way too thick. So that actually is the perfect size. All right, that one is done. Now let's make sure. It's a big gap in between those two, so I have to figure this out. You know what I'm just gonna do? I'm gonna cut off the holes, like where the holes are, because they're getting in my way when I'm trying to, as I'm trying to measure. So get rid of those, and that way I have a flat, like flat line, but with no holes. So I realized I had to grab another one, because if I wanted to use that tab, I was going to lose room there, and I think I am with this one too. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Or maybe not. Maybe not. I think I might be okay. Hang on. Yeah, see, I'm going to have quite a bit of a gap here in between these two. Otherwise, if I want it to be in line, I'm going to lose quite a bit on the bottom, and that is no good. Could I? Yes, I could use this one. Okay. We're okay. This has taken quite a bit of focus. They're slightly different lengths, so that's a bit of that's a bit annoying. So let's see. So that's perfect length. Yeah, so I can trim off just a smidge. Oh yeah, I can trim off quite a bit here. All right. If you guys have any ideas on how I can reinforce these, let me know. Can you see that? How they're a little bit bent? Not in the best shape, but they're so pretty. And I don't think Cloth and Paper sells these anymore. Okay, so these are going to be my 4 sections. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use these or new tab dividers in the purple plumeria, but I just loved how the pink popped with this purple. Like, look at that. Oh my gosh. I hope the lighting, it's 8:30 right now and it's dark out now. So the lighting's not the greatest, but I hope that you can see that. That's going to be so gorgeous. So now I'm going to use these as templates. And if you followed my other DIYs, you know I was using sticky tabs, like removable sticky tabs. And I did pretty good considering, but it wasn't easy. So this is going to be much easier. Much easier. So now that I'm going to be going in, like setting up my compact size, sorry, my goodness, my classic size, I'm thinking I might have to only use one for compact, one for classic, instead of using both for one planner. And so right now I have this gorgeous, this is Jane's Agenda, this French script with this vintage rose layered over top of that vintage rose. So I'm thinking my first, like when you open up my planner, I want it to be this, because it's so stunning, and it's just like that would just look so nice. Although I think it's gonna have to layer with something. Haven't figured that part out yet. So this won't necessarily be a tab. What am I going to do? So I have all these other vellums. I have this one, although I don't know that it looks good with the purple plumeria. But you know what I was doing last night? So I forgot to say, I did a poll on Instagram and I asked, should I do tab dividers with the sterling ink or do these? Most people, oh gosh, what was it? Okay, I'll insert the poll here to show you guys the results, but I think most people said to do these. But what I was doing is I was like, well, what if I used these and then just layered these over top? Because look at how much they pop with the pink behind them. Right? Like, oh my gosh, they are so stunning with the pink background. I just love it. I absolutely love it. I'm thinking of using this one as well. Oh, I already have one that's cut. But then if I do that, then I don't have these as tabbed dividers, which I would like because I'm not going to use these forever. I know it. So I want to have my sterling ink. But you know what? Since I'm going to be using these as a stencil, I guess it's not that big of a deal, is it? I'm going to still make these tab dividers. I might layer them over top of these. We'll see. We shall see. I think I've just talked my way through that. So I think what I'm going to do is still have this as my first page, and I'll make this one a tab divider. This is the same one, just without the elements in the background. Like, it doesn't have the script and the ledger, you know, and the little stamp thing there. It's just the florals. It's these exact florals. So I will use this as a tab divider, but I do want this one here to be my, like, the first thing that I see when I open up my planner. And who knows, I might layer it with a Jane's Agenda. I think I probably want this side because you've got, yeah, or do I want that side? If I do this side, I'm gonna get that stamp in there. If I do this side, I'm gonna get more of these florals. Decisions, decisions. So I do have my ringer on if you hear texts or whatever come in. I do try to be mindful of that, but I do have an offer out right now on a property. We are competing. There are, there's 14 offers total. So we're competing with 13 other buyers. So I need to make sure that I'm accessible in case there's any negotiation that's needed. Okay, so there we go. That's gonna be so pretty. I love it. So that's gonna be my first, what you see when you open, what I see when I open my planner, okay? Now, I'll save this, set this aside, probably for my half letter, and then this one here I'm going to make. So now I have to decide. As far as my tab dividers, I'm gonna have 4 side tabs. Do I need any top tabs? So what I'm thinking is within my notes section, I'm gonna have my movies and TV in there because I take my planner with me everywhere. So when I go to the cottage, if we start a new show, I like to write that down, or we watch a movie, I like to write that down. I need my market minute notes, phone call notes, and what I'm finding, what I have been noticing is when I'm doing my cold calls and my follow-up calls, that would look nice with that. And I need to take notes. Let's say I'm out and about and I get a phone call and I need to take notes. I'm going to my notes section. I'm not in the day on 2 pages. So I've been thinking like maybe I should just stick with the day on 2 pages because I've been taking a fair amount of notes lately. So I'm going to my notes section and I grabbed a notepad. I'm just gonna try and get one here that doesn't have any info on it that you can see. Okay, So this is just a notepad. It's much taller, and I trimmed it down. They were already this width, so I just trimmed them down and just put them in here. They're very thin. They don't bulk up my planner at all. So I write notes on here. Yeah, okay. So while I'm on the phone, like I'll be writing notes on here, but I'm finding like my notes section is pretty big, right? I've got my market minute section. So I need sections within my notes, I'm finding, instead of just having a whole bunch of papers and I'm going through to find, you know, the section that I need. So I definitely need a section for my market minute, like market stats, phone call notes. Don't really need a section for movies, TV, whatever, but definitely I feel like I need 2 there. So that's what I'm thinking. And I already have top tabs in here, so I don't necessarily need to make new top tabs. So here's one of them. Now this is very springy, summery. Oh no, that's not a top tab. Oh my goodness. Where is my first top tab? Where did that go? I think I took it out. So this isn't, yeah, I was gonna say I could use that one, but it's not. Hang on one second, client just texted me. Yeah, that's too springy, I think. It's not really gonna go, so I may need to do, okay. I don't know, we'll see. Let's just focus on the side tabs. Oh, that one is so gorgeous. I wanna have one of these in every planner. And then I have my this month. So, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, I think. Let's just focus on my side tabs for now, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this will be my yep. What I did was I traced around the tab, and then I cut at the edge of the tab, so I can just cut this, like I can cut around the actual tab. Okay, first one done. And then I just erase any little bit of pencil that is left over. So if I do layer it, I mean, how pretty is that? Oh, I'm so excited. I'll tell you, since I've been taking my binder around with me, I literally take it everywhere with me. And what was it, yesterday? I was at a restaurant. The server saw my planner and had it open because I was writing in it. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful diary. And I was like, thanks. And she's like, where did you get that? It's, you know, it's amazing for if you're not in the planner community or part of the plant, not in, but if you're not familiar with, I've got a piece of tape on there I didn't even know about. But yeah, if you are, you know, not familiar with the planner community, you just think of maybe like a day timer, like, right, that you get from Staples or something. Like it's probably has a black cover, very basic, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Office-like, you know. So when you see something like a pretty binder with pretty like charms and, you know, all the accessories out in the wild, I can see how people would be quite enamored. I love it. And actually tonight I was out for dinner with my husband. Him and I went out with my in-laws. So we haven't seen them in a while. So we went out for dinner with them. And I had my planner with me. I've got an offer on the go. So I'm like, you know, working out of my planner a lot. And my mother-in-law was like, oh my gosh, what is that? It was so funny. And then I showed it to her and she loved it. And she was like, you could sell all that. And I'm like, I know, I'm working on it. That's my goal. I would love to have a little planner shop. So I don't know if I went too fast for this, but with my paper trimmer, I do trim up to the tab as much as I can without going through it, and then I just trim with my scissors. I trim the rest. So in case you're wondering. Okay, so that's number 2 done. So there's 1 and 2. Beautiful. Next, let's see, which shall I use for the next one? Like, I love this, but then it gives me no room to use in my half letter. And I only have one of these with the elements. I do have the other one. At least I thought I did. Where is it? Gotta have that in there, that sunflower. I just love this right here. I don't mind that one there, that frame. So I'd have that much. And I mean, that's nice too. And then I'd have this on my half letter. Or I have this in my personal wide, or I have this in my personal wide. So I need to decide. I might need to ask Ryan, because I'll show him something and like that, he doesn't think about it. He just goes with his gut. He's really good at that. Whereas me, not so much. All right, so I asked Ryan out of these two, and he picked this one, like that. I showed him this one, he goes, okay, what's the other one? And then I showed him this one, he goes, yep, that's it, that's the one. And it's almost like I knew it, but for some reason, I just needed him to kind of verify it. I'm like, yeah, it is the one, isn't it? Okay, let's get these laminated. Actually, I'm gonna have 5 because of my front cover. So to make it even when I do, I'm gonna put 2 to a laminating sleeve, so that's 4. So that's 2 laminating sleeves, and then I'm gonna have an extra, I'm gonna have more room. Like I might have room for 1 more. So let me just see what I'm going to do. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do 4 of them first. So I'm gonna do all my tab dividers first. I'll do that one last because I'm gonna see if I can make a top tab to go with that, because I don't wanna waste any space in my laminating sheets. So what I'm doing here is I want to make bottom tabs. I've decided. I have my 4 top tabs, but I also need a tab for this month so I can access my monthly calendar easily. And I also need one for my weekly dashboard. So just referencing this again here. So I need one for my market, minute, and phone calls. Those are going to be top tabs, I think. So these are my 4 top tabs. Okay. So this is going to be for my the first 2 are for my CEO section, which I'm going to need one for meetings. So meetings, social media, and then I will need one for market minutes, like stats, and phone call notes. Okay, and then I need 2 bottom for, because I'm going to have to retire this beautiful dashboard, but I'm going to do a bottom tab instead because I want to be able to access my weekly dashboard easily. So if I have one of these here, then from the bottom I can just flip it over so I won't have so many on the top. So that's my plan. That's what I'm trying to do here. And I did do a couple, but I wasn't taking into account that this would count as the bottom in my hole punch. So then it's way too high up here and it's flush here. So that defeats the purpose of having a tab. So that didn't work. And I couldn't understand because I was going like this and I'm like, it's like the exact same size. Why is it that it's not going in right? And then I realized, it dawned on me, I can't have my tab all the way over to where the holes are, because when it goes into the hole punch like this, it thinks this is the bottom, where it's actually this is the bottom. All right, so I'm gonna have to find a different use for that. Kind of, I don't want that to be a waste of a dashboard, a beautiful dashboard. So for this one here, I just traced here where the first hole will go, and then I will start my tab over from that. Let's see how much. I don't know if I actually could do that because, so yeah, it's like I'd have to start it here. I'd have to start my tab here, because otherwise it'll be part of the bottom of the page, if that makes sense. Hopefully that is making sense to you. I was hoping to do 2 this size, but if my tab starts here, then I only have that much room for the second one. So they could overlap. That's not a big deal. I like the bigger tabs for this part. So if I go like this, get that one out of the way. So then I should be okay. Yep, now we'll be okay. See that? It will not get in the way now. Alrighty, I'm glad I figured that out before I wasted too many more of these. All right, so that's going to be a bottom tab, and I was going to use this as a bottom tab too, but I did the exact same thing. And yeah, I could use it as a top tab because my holes, this is the bottom, but I don't need that as a top tab. So now I have to figure out what is my next bottom tab. I need 2 bottom tabs. I took this one out of my classic. Isn't that gorgeous? My very first order with Sterling ink, I ordered this. This is before I got into the subscription kits. I ordered this separately, 2 sheets. So I have 2 of these for my classic. So I can sacrifice one to use it for my compact, but I think it's too summery, but it's so gorgeous. I wish I discovered this sooner. That'll be fun for next spring. All right. I could use this one. I do want to have repeats of my side tabs so that it has that flow. Right, so this one is this one without the elements. I realize you might not be able to see it. So yeah, these are the same. So that would be good. I don't think I have that as one of my side tabs, or top tabs rather. I do not. So let's do that. I will use this as my stencil. And how much of this do I want to use? I feel like I kind of need the orange in there because of fall. So they are going to overlap probably a little more than what I like. But you know what, actually, they won't, it's not like they're going to be right side by side. There will be pages in between, so I'll be able to see them. It's as good as it's going to get because of where the holes go, unfortunately. And I did want the thicker tab, like the wider tab. I didn't want the smaller tab on the bottom because I only have 2. I don't have 4. So let's go with it. So I have 7 to laminate, and then I have some pieces here that are big enough to be like bookmarks or page finders. So I'm thinking I may laminate those as well, because I definitely don't want them to go to waste. Okay, I'm gonna figure it out, and then I'll be back once everything is laminated. Okay, so everything is laminated, and I made some bookmarks, and what I did was I grabbed some just plain tissue paper. And this is just from all sorts of Happy Meal that I have gotten over the years, and I've compiled quite the collection of different tissue papers that are too pretty to throw out. I will use them for junk journaling, memory planning, whatever. So I found some white ones, and I put these over top. I didn't glue them or anything, and then I just ran them through the laminator, and I think they turned out great, except for this one. I think I put it on backwards because it's not as vibrant as this one, and you can see that they're backwards, so that's kind of a bummer, but it's still pretty. It's still pretty. So yeah, I made these bookmarks, and I left a little overhang here of the tissue paper, which you can't even really tell, because if I want to punch holes in this, then I just have a little bit of extra there. So that's those 2, and I believe I had a third. Yes, I did. So here's the third one. I'm going to trim off. There's still a little bit of overhang from the laminating sheet, so I'm going to trim that. And I just absolutely love this. So I figured if I wanted to use these throughout my planner, or even in book-bound notebooks as little bookmarks, I think it's fun. It's very fun. And because the tissue paper is so thin, like I cut right over it and it didn't split. Kind of like Vellum, it doesn't split. This one didn't split. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to leave the tissue paper over that. I like the overhang. And I'm just going to use the small setting for my corner. I like it like that. Corners are rounded. I love it. So, and all the other scraps that I had that were not wide enough for a bookmark, I kept them, and I have them in an envelope or like a big baggie, because you can use those in journaling or, you know, journaling, memory planning, like these ones, right? Like there's not enough of a pattern on here to make a bookmark. So I'll just use these in a spread. Maybe I'll cut a little bit and glue it down behind a picture, something like that. So these I will add to that baggie. And then I have these ones here I thought I could do something with as well. This one might be too big to be, I think it's too big to be an actual bookmark, right? Because it would be really far over the page. So let me sit on those for a second and let's trim. So everything is done through the laminator. I don't know where this tissue paper is from, but it says on the back, luxury in simplicity. Oh, there is luxury in simplicity. So I don't know if this was cloth and paper. I've had it for a very long time, but I don't know how that would look. Can you see it? You can kind of see it. Do you like that? I don't know if I like that. It's not really era appropriate, is it? I just thought it was kind of neat to have a little bit of like white font on the back. It's pretty. You know, I might do it anyways. It's the only other white tissue paper that I have that is not so crinkly and thick. This is a very thin one. What I didn't like about this one, it has this line, so this would be right in the middle of the image. So I didn't like that. So I was hoping to find something that is completely flat. So it's looking like that square will do just fine. So this tissue paper is from like a varsity jacket that I bought a couple years ago from a company called Hillary Macmillan. Hillary Macmillan. And this was the tissue paper it came in, and I just had to keep it. First of all, it's pink. The varsity jacket that I bought is pink too, and on the back it says not made to be subtle. And yeah, this tissue paper is just so awesome. So I thought, you know what, since I'm using tissue paper, I'm gonna make, I don't know, I probably won't put it in this planner, but I'm making a dashboard. Since I already have the laminator going, I figured why not. This is the tissue paper that my Pandora is wrapped in, and I have so many of these. So pretty. Maybe I'll stick to the white. But I do like the pink underneath. Okay, note to self, tissue paper is not easy to work with in a laminate sheet because it's kind of staticky inside. So it's really hard to not only move your tissue paper around, but to keep it in place. Okay, so I'm gonna just put everything in here and laminate them and trim them. And then I will be back to show you the end result. Okay, because this video is long enough as it is. And if you're still here, thank you. I appreciate you. This has been way longer than intended. I've been at this a couple hours now, which is like relaxing for me. I really love quiet time at my desk. Nobody's, you know, coming in, and although we didn't get the house, by the way, in case you're wondering. Our clients didn't get it. We were outbid. We went 120,000 over asking, and we did not get it. So it'd be interesting to see what it sold for tomorrow once the sold price is posted. But anyhow, so apart from that, it's nice to have my alone time to do this. So yeah, this has taken way longer than expected. So I'm going to laminate these and trim them, and then I'll show you the finished product, the finished result. All right, I am finally done. Oh my gosh, it's been, yeah, 2 hours. Okay, so here is the You Are Awesome dashboard. I love it. It's so thin. It's my first time laminating tissue paper. I highly recommend. If you have some nice tissue paper or you don't, then when you get your Happy Mail, keep your tissue paper because you can make some pretty cool stuff out of it. Not sure if I'll put that in my purple plumeria. We will see. I'll probably just put it in my storage binder for now, but it's so stinking cute. I love it. And then this is it's just for Pandora. That's the little crown. Or no, those are just circles, aren't they? Oh no, they're little crowns, the Pandora logo, but you can barely see the top of the crown. So it just looks like a bunch of circles. And I think it's really cute. Now this would look cute with the purple plumeria because that's a light pink. Here's how this dashboard turned out. Now it is a bit more muted. Is it? Yeah, I think it's just a tad bit more muted. Like, it's just so subtle though. You can see if you look at the purple, it's just not as vibrant as this one. but it's okay. I don't mind that. I like it. And I like that you can see the writing on the back. I think that looks pretty neat, and you can see it peeking through as well. Yeah, I like that layered look. And then I printed one on its own, or yeah, not printed, laminated one on its own. So I wasn't sure if I was gonna layer these. Maybe I won't layer it at all. I think I'll just have this as the first thing that you see when you open. Of course, there'll be white behind it. So that would look really pretty. And I wasn't sure if I was gonna laminate or layer. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna set this up yet. Probably very similar to how it is now, just with my new dashboards. Okay, so here are pretty dashboards that I made, and here are the tab dividers. I made lots. So we have my top tabs, my 4 top tabs. So there's the first one. Number 2. Perfect for fall. Number 3 and number 4. Okay. And then what do we have over here? We have my side tab dividers, except for those 2. So then we have the first section will be this one. Just stunning. And number 2, number 3, and number 4. Very happy. And then these will be my bottom tab dividers. Okay. Obviously, I will be setting up my purple plumeria in another video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're still here, thank you for sticking around. I know it's not always easy to watch a long video, so I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here week after week, video after video. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing so that you can see more DIY videos, but also a lot more interesting videos too. Planning, behind the scenes as a real estate agent, things like that. And then here are my bookmarks. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to put these to use. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video. Bye.